Sensibo is a tiny device that connects air conditioners to the internet. This product can be used with any air conditioner that has a remote control. Some features of Sensibo include remotely managing multiple air conditioners from anywhere. It works with any remote-controlled AC out of the box. There are options for 7-day scheduling and timers via the app. It anticipates arrival by automatically turning on the AC. Can monitor the temperature and humidity in rooms remotely. It saves money by reducing AC costs, and it is 100% mobile and transferable. The packages range from $199 to $437, and Sensibo urges customers to make your AC smart and maximize your comfort. Sensibo faces multiple problems as well as opportunities. First, Sensibo is in a market with many air conditioner brands, appliances, and accessories. Aside from the unit themselves, there are additional accessories that can be purchased. Unfortunately, an air conditioning unit and related products tend to be something that people replace or make purchases for only when needed. Installing or replacing a central air conditioning system is one of a homeowner's biggest expenses. In this instance, Sensibo has the opportunity to elaborate on the fact that their product is not just another appliance, yet it makes your existing unit better. To be quite frank, Sensibo needs to show consumers and customers that their product is worth the money. What makes them different, though, is also one of their strengths. They are unique in the fact that this is a mobile product, in contrast to its competitors. In addition, considering that this product relies on technology, a problem arises due to the sole reason that not everyone has access to a smartphone. Although technology is consistently improving across the board and being offered in new places every day, the reality is that some areas do not have access to such resources. At the same time, the reliance on technology comes with the opportunity to expand into a new market where people can control different aspects of their life via mobile phones. Moreover, results from the Residential Energy Consumption Survey show that 87% of U.S. households are now equipped with AC. Based on different regions of the country and demographics, a company can get an idea on who would be more interested in buying a product. Although this is only representative of the United States, it is a baseline for a model to analyze other countries and see what areas would be more interested in a product like Sensibo. Israel is a country said to be the very embodiment of Jewish continuity, meaning it is the only nation on earth that inhabits the same land, bears the same name, speaks the same language, and worships the same God it did 3,000 years ago. The people of Israel trace their roots to the origin of Abraham, who believed there is only one true God who created the universe. Israel's openness to global commerce is a vital factor in innovation and productivity growth in the country. The economy has grown almost 4% annually over the past 5 years. In addition, the relatively sound judicial framework has contributed to economic stability and long-term competitiveness. Israel has the world's highest concentration of high-technology startups per head, although big firms continue to dominate the stock exchange. Israel's government is a parliamentary democracy. This political system has 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. The executive branch is headed by a prime minister, who is leader of Israel's parliament, consisting of 120 members. That comprises the legislative branch. The judiciary branch consists of courts, tribunals, and a Supreme Court. At times, the press has been regarded as the 4th branch of government in Israel. The number of daily newspapers sold in Israel is the highest per capita in the world. The news outlets consisting of papers, radio broadcasts, TV channels, and cable television are independent and serve as a check to governmental power. Public relations has also evolved in Israel over the years. When Israel first became its own state, the government and Zionist institutions promoted the idea of social integration, trying to unite the Jewish immigrants into a new culture. At that point in time, social responsibility of the press took precedence over freedom of the press in order to spur nation building and social integration. In result, public relations was mainly governmental, and spokespersons transmitted a one-way flow of only positive information to journalists. However, from the 70s to the 90s, Israel had much more diverse and competitive media due to changes relating to Israel's politics, social climate, and economy. When government relinquished control over the media, reporting became much more criticizing. In turn, public relations became a professional practice and not only for government use anymore, but use in the private sector. As of today, about 400 firms in Israel work with private, public, and not-for-profit sectors. Israel, the host country of Sensibo, ranks number 32 in the Corruption Perception Index, results of 2015. With 0 being highly corrupt and 100 being very clean, Israel is more close to the corrupt end of the spectrum rather than the clean. Hofstede's 5 cultural dimensions in relation to Israel and the Sensibo Campaign are as follows. Power distance. 13, low compared to other countries. Israelis believe in independency, equal rights, accessible superiors, and power is more decentralized and respect is earned by proving yourself. Workplaces are informal and involve direct communication. Uncertainty avoidance, 81, which is strong. Israel has an emotional need for rules regardless if they work or not. And Israelis believe in the mindset that time is money, with security being an important element in motivation to work hard and be successful. Individualism, 54. There's a blend of individualistic and collectivistic cultures. In Israel, there is a strong belief in self-actualization, and loyalty is based on personal preferences for people, along with a sense of duty and responsibility. People communicate very directly and with expression. Masculinity, 47. Neither a masculine nor feminine society. However, some values are more masculine. For instance, performance is highly valued, people are more decisive and assertive, and status is shown by material things such as cars and watches. Long-term orientation, 38, low score. Israel has a tendency to prefer normative thought, establish the absolute truth, and respect tradition.
Hello everyone, my name is Trevor Ushak, and I'll be discussing a few of the audiences that we intended to do with this Project Sensibo campaign. So the idea for Sensibo actually came from a group of gentlemen who had all served in the Israeli Defense Force, which is commonly known as the IDF. They all served together in the same unit. Traveling throughout Israel, the temperature often varied. Sometimes you could be in the desert, sometimes it could be really cold, depending on where you're stationed at any point in time. My cousin was actually in the IDF, and he told me that was an issue, so this was an interesting product for that reason. Thus, our group believes the primary audience initially, when they created this for the campaign, would have been travelers or soldiers of the IDF who are constantly on the move and tend to deal with shifting temperatures. In a kibbutz, which is a collective housing area, they all just live together, soldiers or others can regulate the temperature simply through the use of a smartphone if they were to use Sensibo. When this campaign began on Indiegogo, we believe the primary audience would have been people who are interested in technology and the development of smart products. When you first looked at the Indiegogo campaign, all of the people who were involved in backing it were technological companies or people who had heard of it from a newspaper. Aside from the primary audience, there was also a secondary targeted audience. Although a site like Indiegogo or Kickstarter are popular sites for a younger audience, typically 18 to 24, we believe the secondary audience was more likely homeowners who owned air conditioners. This is because air conditioners are built in. They're something that is wired to the house, so the ability to use Sensibo and make it portable was something that would be beneficial to homeowners wherever they moved if they changed houses or anything along those lines. On that same note, it also allows the idea of homeowners who are property owners, such as people who lease apartments, hotels, motels, etc., because they could regulate the AC in order to be more cost-effective and energy efficient. At the same time, when they are trying to renovate the apartment or switch units, all the Sensibo has to do, it uses Wi-Fi to connect any air conditioner to the internet. So it makes any air conditioner smart. So it doesn't matter where the unit's located or how old the product is, it can use Sensibo in some capacity. So this would be very effective for both homeowners and possible property managers. This campaign is typical of many other campaigns in the fact that they used a video. That's an approach that's used by many different crowdfunding campaigns like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but I believe that concept is only mastered by a few. Sensibo created a video that appealed to the masses through its use of comedic relief. And if anyone watches House of Cards, it has a similar vantage point to that of the popular Netflix show because they take the perspective of looking away from the camera as if the whole rest of the audience can't hear what this character is saying. So that's kind of how the main character in the Sensibo advertisement also speaks. It's like he speaks directly to you, which we believe entices every viewer to think that it's a more personal product and you could think smarter by using the product Sensibo. The humorous main character encouraged backers to support the product and, in essence, save the planet. He also has a frisbee because he said it was smart enough that it could fetch itself. This video was incredibly effective. It quickly went viral and is considered one of the top Indiegogo crowdfunding videos of 2014. It amassed close to 155,000 views, which resulted, what we believe, in the success of the crowdfunding fundraising goal because everyone saw this campaign and wanted to contribute in some capacity. Obviously, there are a lot of products that claim they're smart products or something that can be used with an app. That's a very revolutionary thing going on in today's generation, the idea of apps, but there's always something that makes a product different. So our question was, what makes Sensibo different? Sensibo has competitors, but none can offer exactly what Sensibo can. A similar product in popularity would be Nest, which is an air conditioner unit itself. But this is also where Sensibo is different in every aspect. Sensibo can actually connect to Nest to regulate temperatures. Sensibo serves as more of a remote control for the product, whereas Nest is the actual wired-in air conditioning unit. For this reason, it's like comparing apples to oranges. It's not possible to exactly compare the two products because they differ in certain ways. However, they're both fruits. In this sense, the fruit is air conditioning, and both products help to regulate that. Nest does it by working as a central air unit, whereas Sensibo would be an attachment to Nest to be able to control air conditioning remotely from anywhere with the use of a smartphone. There is nothing similar in nature to Sensibo because the goal of Sensibo is to make your air conditioning smarter rather than replacing the air conditioning as a whole. It attaches and promotes Wi-Fi to any air conditioning unit, making it unique in that facet.
Hi, my name is Nicole Clark, and today I'll be talking to you a little bit about Sensibo's campaign overview. To begin, the campaign theme and tagline for Sensibo is Make Any AC Smart, Maximize Your Comfort. Sensibo's primary goal is to make air conditioning smart through the use of technology and create a market for their product. The objective was to raise $70,000 through pre-orders, which they were able to exceed, and they ended up raising $179,675 by the end of their campaign. The strategy was to use a crowdfunding campaign to generate pre-orders and raise money. One of the biggest reasons that their campaign was so successful was due to a video that Sensibo made displaying their product. As already discussed in this presentation, the video was posted on YouTube and Indiegogo, which was the site that Sensibo used to crowdfund. The video displayed their product and its unique features. The objective of the video was to generate buzz about the product and to get people to be smart and buy Sensibo's Smart AC. Sensibo highlights that they can reduce energy use from air conditioners by 40%, going green for the planet and saving you money to appeal to people's side to go green. The video highlights the product's simplicity, showing that it can be applied to any AC. It appeals to both different publics. Two of the publics, which are those who are tech savvy and into new and innovative technology, and those who are not, but still this video can appeal to them because it is funny and it shows that the product is easy to use. Crowdfunding is a very popular tool that many startup companies are using. Due to the ability to share online, many products on crowdfunding have the ability to generate popularity and raise an immense amount of money overnight, or essentially go viral overnight. Due to the ease of sharing links online into their site, crowdfunding can make or break a startup. All you need are a few people to want the product, invest in it, or to share it with their friends who can bring potential hits to the site that can generate more investments. Sensibo used Indiegogo, a crowdfunding site, to introduce people to their product both locally and worldwide. Indiegogo reaches 223 countries and territories. Sensibo was highly successful with their crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, and it was a crowdfunding strategy that was a smart move for Sensibo for a couple of reasons. First, by using a crowdfunding campaign, Sensibo can track if people are coming to their page to look at their product, and they can see how many of those people are investing into their company. They can also see through Indiegogo if they are one of the more popular startups for the week that people are searching for, or if when people go to search for other companies, if they are one of the potential searches that show up. Since crowdfunding is an online campaign, it is usually shared on the internet, allowing people from all over the world to see the product. Secondly, the makers of Sensibo can see if there is an urgency for their product. Because Indiegogo is a crowdfunding site that shows and displays new and innovative startup companies, they only allow a limited amount of time for startups to crowdfund on their site. Startups like Sensibo have a time constraint to reach their goal. Are people interested, and do they want this product? These are the questions that can be answered based on the feedback of people investing in the idea of Sensibo in this limited time window, based on the amount of people who are signing up and giving their money. Crowdfunding can predict, if manufactured, how well the product will do on the market. If a lot of people are pre-ordering now, then there is clearly a demand for Sensibo, and it will do well once mass-produced and put on the market. And if not, then the makers of Sensibo can focus on what they need to do to change that. Crowdfunding gives the opportunity for Sensibo to validate their product before it's on the market. Sensibo makers test this through their crowdfunding campaign to see if people are interested in the product by tracking the amount of money funded and tracking the amount of pre-orders. Monitoring the interest people have in their product before it's even on the shelves to buy. This allows them to make sure that their company will be successful and can help the makers of Sensibo create a timeline and predict the future demand of their product. Most importantly, the makers of Sensibo can generate the money needed to pay for the initial fees of the hardware and manufacturing of the product through their investors on Indiegogo. These investors pre-order the product, which helps cover the expenses of manufacturing and putting together the stock, allowing them to start their company without big pocket investors and receiving a profit much quicker. With hardware products like Sensibo in their air conditioning kit, you need a lot of money or big investors to get the product on the market because you have to make it all beforehand. And Indiegogo helps bridges that gap by crowdfunding. Business culture in Israel is very competitive and innovative, which is why this crowdfunding on its own wouldn't have been enough. In addition to the crowdfunding, Sensibo also hired a PR agency called Blonde 2.0, which is a PR company that focuses on startups, enterprises, VCs, and lifestyle brands. This PR company, which is based in Israel, specializes in startups like Sensibo. Blonde 2.0 was able to get articles published in Fast Company and The Verge, which reached a targeted public that would be interested in Sensibo's product. Stewardship efforts included giving kits to people who invested in a certain amount of money on their crowdfunding campaign. Based on the amount of money invested, you could receive one air conditioning kit, one kit plus another remote adapter, 2 kits, and so on. When the first kits were set out to the investors, since the product was new, there were some glitches, and any kit that had them were replaced and shipped for free. Through the use of humor, this video that they made to help their campaign went viral and showed and displayed their product qualities. The video was ranked number 1 on the 5 funniest pitches videos of 2014. And because of this, it received mass media coverage and it brought more attention to the product. This drove people to their crowdfunding site and was able to allow Sensibo to exceed their goal by over 250%, making the campaign successful. Through the video and through crowdfunding and through having articles published about their product, Sensibo was able to use their campaign to reach people across a numerous amount of platforms. And all of this helped make their campaign successful.
First, I'm going to give you a little background about the country Israel. Israel is located in the Middle East, and it is the only Jewish state in the entire world. It has a population of about 7 million people, which is extremely small. Israel is a democratic country and a Western-style nation. Israel is extremely different from its surrounding countries. The countries around Israel are less developed. Now that we know a little more about the country, I'm going to talk about the media in Israel. The media in Israel mainly focuses on news stories in a democratic environment. The whole country only has 3 national newspapers, which makes sense because the country is so small. The newspapers tend to act as a check on government and business. In 1965, Israel introduced educational television before even offering commercial television. But they came a long way. Now Israel has a network of cable television channels and radio channels. Although Israelis watch television and listen to the radio and read the newspaper, it is not as popular as it is in other countries. So the people of Israel rely on the internet to get most of their news and entertainment. In Israel, the internet is definitely the most effective way to reach the biggest target audience. Public relations in Israel. Like many other countries, public relations has been around for a long time and is seen more as a press agent image rather than a strategic management image. Israel even has their own public relations association. About 250 members are in this association. The members either work for corporate companies or agencies. In Israel, especially for large Israeli companies, it is a challenge to reach the whole population because minority sectors of the population will only watch their internal channels of communication. So, in order for a company in Israel to be successful and reach their target audience, it is best for the company to direct communication abroad. Public relations and current events. Although public relations in Israel is seen more as a press agent image, the country takes public relations very seriously when dealing with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Israel has a public relations press office in each of its ministries and embassies and holds an annual public relations training in Washington, D.C. for its spokespersons. Public relations is taken so seriously on this topic that even Israeli soldiers are trained on what to say/do when the cameras are rolling. On the other hand, Palestine does not take their public relations seriously at all. They have no media monitoring and don't have message coordination with each other. Now I'm going to discuss the circuit of culture and how it is related to Sensibo's campaign. The circuit of culture is made up of 5 different components: regulation, production, representation, consumption, and identity. So first I'm going to talk about regulation. Regulation refers to different rules, laws, and regulations of a culture or a country. So in Israel, the government regulates what is aired on television and what is written about in newspapers. So although the government regulates what's going on in the media, Israel tends to have a lot less censorship rules compared to most countries. In this specific campaign, Sensibo's crowdfunding video was regulated by the owners of the Indiegogo website. That's where the crowdfunding video was posted. Now, production. Production is when the creators of cultural products encode them with meaning. Essentially, it's how the creators of the product are going to execute the campaign to the public. The owners of Sensibo decided to start a crowdfunding campaign to effectively get the word out about their product and to raise money to kickstart their company. To support their crowdfunding campaign, Sensibo came out with a video. Even though this is an unoriginal approach for a crowdfunding campaign, Sensibo's video did a great job at targeting their primary and secondary audience and made it extremely amusing and fun to watch. The video targeted people who are either always on the go or homeowners. Sensibo's campaign also targeted people who are interested in technology and tend to keep up with the latest technological trends. Representation is the form an object takes and the meaning encoded in that specific form. The creators of Sensibo wanted to leave audiences with the impression of, why would I use anything but a smart AC? In the campaign, anyone who uses the product is seen as smart, whereas if you are just using a regular AC, you are seen as almost dumb or at a disadvantage to the people who use Sensibo. Consumption is when messages are encoded by an audience. Overall, people responded positively to this campaign. The company's crowdfunding video went viral. Sensibo's campaign was such a success that they were able to exceed their fundraising goal by over 200%. Essentially, this means that the people were excited about Sensibo and extremely interested in the product. People were willing to give money to the company in order for it to be a huge success. Finally, identity. Identity is the need to create an organizational identity. Sensibo's identity is make any AC smart, maximize your comfort. The company is not to be used to replace an AC, but can simply be a fantastic add-on product that every homeowner and person on the implementation of communication tools and strategies. One of Sensibo's strategies was to be featured on multiple websites in order to build recognition of the product. To maximize effectiveness, Sensibo hired a PR firm to write articles to be featured on websites. To the right are names of websites where articles about Sensibo were featured, such as The Verge, Fast Company, Bloomberg, The Marker, and Digital Trends. Sensibo also had a crowdfunding campaign. What ran along with their crowdfunding campaign was a video. It is a comical video that ended up going viral on Indigo to support Sensibo's campaign. The humor in the video made it extremely successful. The video was ranked number 1 on the 5 funniest pitch videos of 2014 on Indiegogo. Because of this, it received mass media coverage and attention to the product. Sensibo was able to succeed their goal, raising a total of $179,675.
The Sensibo campaign was one of the most successful crowdfunding campaigns based on what we believe its appeal was through comedy. It was the funniest pitch video on Indiegogo in 2014, according to an article that we cited. Although it didn't make the millions other crowdfunding campaigns may raise, it was still 236% funded. The campaign exceeded its fundraising goals. It also had 155,000 views on its YouTube crowdfunding video. Technology websites, when you type Sensibo reviews into Google, were seemingly all positive. Each link expressed and promoted the concept that Sensibo is something you must have. All in all, we believe it is fair to call this campaign a success, but it is not without its flaws and recommendations for future products. As previously mentioned, there were a few challenges that we believe Sensibo faced. One of the main issues was that some customers had trouble receiving their products due to customs. All the items seemed to be stuck at the customs on every country they tried to send it to, so for that reason there was negative comments on the Indiegogo page. However, on that same note, the campaigner, Alex Mann, seemingly answers any comment someone posts on the comments section of the crowdfunding site, which shows that consumer satisfaction is a top priority, even just as a campaigner and not someone who's a public relations professional. The campaigner is happy to refund people for the issues at hand, which shows the resolve to please the audiences of Sensibo. Secondly, there was no clear timeline or budget, which is typical of a normal Indiegogo or Kickstarter campaign. Thus, this prevented backers from knowing exactly where their money would be funneled towards and when to expect the project. That is normally an advantage of a crowdfunding campaign, but this was definitely not advantageous to Sensibo, in this case to keep its customers, in a sense, in the dark. There is a need for Sensibo to be more present on social media. This is one of our critiques. The presence of the company on social media is severely lacking, and it is reasonable to think the presence would have only enhanced the campaign. We believe that Sensibo is not active enough on social media, and this was proven even though it's after the fact of the campaign, but their last Facebook post was in April, and the last tweet to this date of the project was early June. Connecting more on social media would help them engage the younger millennials and affect another audience. This is important because the majority from what we believe were the target audiences were homeowners, so seeing as young professionals are potential homeowners or renters in the future, Sensibo would be a product that they would use as well. Secondly, there's a need for a company to share with their customers the things they intend to do with the money people are backing into the project, similarly as reflected on the fact that they had no budget or timeline. For that reason, we believe that Sensibo should have provided a timeline and budget breakdown to their customers. Finally, we have recommendations. As a recommendation, we realize that the startup is still fairly young, so there's a maturity period. This was, after all, its first product, and we'd hope Sensibo would make more products in the future. However, if they were to, the company needs to find a better way to ship its products to prevent a holdup at customs for the products to go through. That is, if the company continued to use a crowdfunding campaign again to promote a new product that it might be creating at this time. Simply based on reputation, based on the ability to crowdfund and the ability of people to go watch the YouTube videos, we believe Sensibo can now be found pretty much anywhere, including Amazon, where we found it online, where shipping is not a hassle or issue based on Prime or any other ideal shipping method. The only initial issue was that since it was a crowdfunding campaign, the backers were supposed to get the product before it was released to the market, as an incentive for the reason why they supported the campaign. Thus, for future products, we believe the reputation for Sensibo is at a point where there is no longer a need to crowdfund, but instead they should sell their product through an e-commerce marketplace such as Amazon, which would make the product ship more efficiently and reach larger audiences. Additionally, as previously mentioned, there is a definite need for Sensibo to be more present on social media.
All in all, our team found that Sensibo's campaign for its product was extremely successful given its resources. Sensibo was created in a country that generates many new, cutting-edge technological ideas and inventions. Young Israeli soldiers thought of the product, yet lacked the funds to cover initial costs and fees. Using crowdfunding was perhaps one of the smartest ideas to implement because they were able to test the market, attract investors, and still raise not only enough money, but more than the initial goal. Another aspect of the campaign process that benefited Sensibo was the humorous advertisement that kept people's attention yet informed the audience of every single aspect of the product. From the beginning, viewers are entertained and a relationship is formed. The relationship is taken to another level when the campaigner willingly and openly answers comments left on the crowdfunding site. There were a few problems such as shipping and getting the product through customs, yet Sensibo was more than ready to refund customers for apparent issues. In addition, although it is typical of a crowdfunding site, there was no clear timeline or budget, which can hurt the support of backers and left customers unaware of any plans. For the future, our team recommends that Sensibo has more of a presence on social media, so more people learn of the product, and to begin selling and shipping on more e-commerce sites.